Rader podcast, number, 12, 13, something like that.
The numbers don't matter.
Yeah. No, they don't. So we're going to talk about multi-factor authentication, and the reason is this is a way to harden your the security on your email account. We've talked about email phishing twice now, email encryption. It's not even 11 o'clock here on a Friday, and there's already been, 2 phishing breaches, maybe even a third.
Back to back, and then bam. Yeah.
I mean, it's happening.
It's a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
Every day this week, and I think last week we've had at least one breach a day. So multi-factor authentication is a way to help. When your password gets compromised, it will still prevent somebody from logging into your account, ideally. So Mr. McClurg, what is multi-factor authentication?
Well, it's identity confirmation, essentially using 2 pieces of evidence that prove you are you. You have to have 2 pieces present to prove you're you. I use my phone and me and a PIN, and that does it.
Yep. So there's actually 3 different ways to prove who you are. What are those 3 ways?
So you got 3 different ways. 4 if you consider, your identity, your username. That's one piece of the puzzle.
Good point.
But then you have knowledge, which is a password or a PIN number, just something that you know. You have something in your possession, can be used as a form of authentication. And this is like a key card or a USB fob. There's different ways of possession, like...
A debit card would be a form of possession.
Absolutely. And then there's something inherent to you, and that's things like biometrics, your fingerprint, your retina scan, facial recognition. iPhone's doing that now. Windows does it. So another form of authentication.
Yep. So multi-factor authentication uses multiple factors to authenticate. 2-factor authentication is a subset of that and was kind of a big thing for a while. I think for a lot of our accounts, we use 2-factor authentication. What's a good example of something that everybody uses on a regular basis with 2-factor authentication?
ATM.
So the 2 factors are?
The card and the PIN, man.
You got it.
I mean, we all use it. We all do.
You have to have both.
Yeah.
So security questions was a big one for a while as a form of 2-factor authentication, but it's not great because it's both things that you're using knowledge in both of them. And so if that knowledge is compromised, you don't have that possession or that inherence to back it up.
I've read several instances of people having their accounts breached, like Twitter accounts and GoDaddy, where somebody just went in and, through social engineering was able to figure out security questions.
Yep. What city were you born in? Well, it's probably on your Facebook page.
It's probably out there, right? It's easy to glean, and I think celebrities have had their accounts breached through those methods multiple times. And
if you read a lot of blog posts, it's the method by which they break those is guessing. They guess.
They literally just guess what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I heard somebody in a chat channel the other day say that for about a year he tried breaching accounts because everybody's favorite food was pizza, and that's what they would put as their security answer. Yeah. So he's like, it was so easy. You get their password. There's pizza is everybody's favorite food.
My strategy was to always, throw something zany in there, like, who's your favorite superhero? And it's Chris Rader.
Yeah. Gary from down the street.
That's right.
So mobile phone apps, in doing research for this, and I just used the Wikipedia page, so if you look up multi-factor authentication, it's all right there. But there was this whole thing about mobile phones and how the National Institute of Standards and Technology have condemned SMS as a form of authentication because we've seen that be breached. But phones are getting better, they're getting tighter security, and it really is a nice, easy way to use multi-factor authentication because you have your phone with you almost all the time now. And hackers really can't get into it as long as you have a good PIN or your thumbprint is on there. But we're going to turn towards Office 365 multi-factor authentication. Who do we recommend this for?
We recommend it for everybody. If you don't go to everybody, at least the higher level members of your organization, anybody who handles transactions with money, anybody who handles sensitive information, intellectual property. Email is, where people store a lot of data, and people hardly ever delete emails. So if those accounts get breached, there's a lot of information to be found in there.
Yep. So, Mr. McClurg, how does the Office 365 multi-factor authentication work?
I mean, MFA is pretty straightforward, especially for O365. So you log into your account, and then after you put in your password, the Authenticator app will send a notification to your phone to verify your identity. And you can choose it to use a phone call or an SMS, but the Authenticator app is what I use and what we suggest everybody uses.
Yep.
And I think just because the security of the app is it's not infallible, but it's a higher level of security than say SMS or phone.
Well, and it's easy because you just hit approve and it logs you in, as opposed to having to type in a number or get a phone call. It's super simple to use. So we use it that way, but there's one other way that multi-factor authentication can be used, because we're using this as a 2-factor, but you can do a 3-factor. What's that 3rd factor?
Third factor is biometrics.
So some of the newer Microsoft computers have the thumbprint thing on it, or the facial
They
recognition.
have a facial recognition. It's called Windows Hello. You just sit in front of a computer with a webcam, and it looks at your face, and it logs you in.
A few guys here use it. Courtney uses it. We try to get Courtney back. Sorry.
Courtney's not here.
I know. I miss Courtney.
But it's super easy. She sits down in front of her computer. It's a 3D camera. It recognizes her face and opens. If I sit down, it says, well, you're not Courtney. It doesn't open it.
Yep.
Super, super easy. So the big thing is if you have MFA and you go to, and you're not logging in to your account, if you get a notification on your phone, it means that your account's probably been compromised and it's time to change your password. I had a scare the other day where I wasn't even at my computer and I got a notification. Like, all right, I don't know. I know somebody's trying to probably get into my account, but it's not me, so I'm changing my password. So nobody ever got in. My account was safe.
Yeah.
And by simply using multi-factor authentication, super easy.
And you may already see examples of this in your day-to-day. Gmail and Apple will give you, notifications when something is trying to sign in.
When you're logging onto your bank account.
Yeah, it'll say, hey, there's been a login attempt, and it's from this IP address, and if this is all good, you can ignore it, but if not, hey, something may be up.
Yep. So if you have any questions about multi-factor authentication, give us a call.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, let us know.
Awesome.